Hi guys, welcome back to Warhammer 40k Boltgun. It's time for us to enter the mission of Venerable Bastion. The Magistrate's Bastion. The information we need will be here somewhere. Now all you have to do is get inside. Shouldn't be too hard. Looks like the heretics have managed it. Basically call it safe. If they can do it, you can definitely do it, mate. I like it, I like it. Well, actually, I am recording this on the same day as our discussion regarding Monster Hunter that I brought at the end of the previous episode. So I may as well continue on with that, or at least I'm happy to. Yeah, Lance was interesting. I've used Lance like in the past, all the way back in Monster Hunter 5 on the Nintendo Wii. And I found it only useful for me against the Diablos back in the day. I hated fighting the Diablos, and being able to have a big shield and just stand underneath them and poke them to death was my way of getting through it. But that game back in the day, God, it took like you had 50 minutes for a hunt, but like it used to take pretty much like 30 to 40 minutes for like so many of the different hunts that you do when you're by yourself in single player. And then when you get online, obviously, if you're trying to kill them by yourself, again, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, me and my friend, we've been playing it since Try. But for him to get the greatsword, it's like the one weapon that he's always said he would never want to use. Because we agreed, like, whatever comes up when we randomly generate, we play, and that's it. We don't get a choice in the match. At least until Sunbreak comes out, and then we can switch to something we're more comfortable with for doing, like, master rank and things. I think I would have been fine to keep using Lance, to be honest, but yeah, we are in master rank now. It's like master rank 4-star, and I have been always a big fan of the switch. So the switch axe was like the first weapon I really drew myself towards, and it's just because of the fluidity, having the sword and the axe. It was kind of just, there was something about the weapon that was just like such a joy to use. And anyway, yeah. He's actually switched onto Switch Axe for this one, but then I've noticed over time, like I used Switch Axe, and then after that 3U, so 3 Ultimate, I actually used Dual Blades, which I will say, actually Dual Blades are a lot of fun. But back in the day, it wasn't a case of like you would see like numbers when you attack like monsters. You would just see the slashes, basically. In today's Monster Hunter, you get numbers as you do damage, and those damage numbers obviously quite low on something like the Dual Blades because you're talking a lightweight weapon, but it hits with volume rather than pure damage. Whereas your Switch Axe is like quite slow, but it has some combo attacks on it, so it hits pretty hard. That's why my mate likes it. He loves the sword mode on it as well. He loves how they've adapted it for Monster Hunter Rise, things have changed back in the day, obviously. But yeah, when we got to like Monster Hunter World, which came out for PS4, that sort of era of games, we both absolutely loved World. World was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for like a better adaptation of Monster Hunter for console, because it had always been like handhelds for quite a while after, you know, the Nintendo Wii. Yeah, after the Dual Blade, with things like 4 on the Switch, I ended up actually going a completely different direction and using a hammer. Now, hammer has its disadvantages to take when you're hunting things by yourself. For example, it's a weapon that cannot cut off a monster's tail. Now, not all monsters have tails you can cut off necessarily, so it doesn't always matter, but there are loads of occasions where actually, yeah, you can't cut off their tail, and you might need that tail for armor or something like that you want to grab from the monsters you've killed. So me and my mate work well together, being that he can focus the tails, and the hammer, it's pretty much its only job, or should be largely its only job, is to hit the head of the monster, because you will be far more likely to knock the monster into a state of being stunned, or it looks like they've been KO'd basically. You knock them over, and then they're just lying on the floor for a while. But yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do for Rise after we got into the Sunbreak extended plan. So I was like, well, you know, I'm obviously a big fan of some of the old school weapons that you used to use, but these days, you know, it's not quite the same. All those firing champions. Something like more of the big guns to fight me now, eh? But yeah, I ended up landing on Hammer. I could, yeah, like I said, I feel like from using Lance in Rise, I kind of figured it out quite well. You know, timing the counters and things is still not always guaranteed to go well because you're trying to predict a monster's movement. And it's, you know, depends on what little signs it gives for the attack is about to load up or something like that. Yeah, you've got to watch it carefully. And you can be punished in the fact that your movement's very restricted when you're using a lance. If you get it wrong, you're in trouble. Yeah, the combo works well for us, having a hammer and a switch axe. It's not something I've really considered recording for the channel, to be honest. Like, I enjoy killing monsters and that. Some of my old videos you can see from World, I used to do some hunts myself, using a light bowgun or a bow largely for them, so yeah. Can't say I have any plans to bring it to the channel, but it would maybe be an option. They're relatively easy to record, to be honest. You just hit record and then start slapping a monster, because back in the day I didn't do commentary, so it was very easy then, because you just record and then you just get on with it. Yeah, I like bowgun. Like, I love bowguns, but man, it's a lot to keep on top of a bowgun. Different types of ammo and stuff. I can't be really switching out all the time. It's terrible to put a weapon on and that's it. You can make loadouts for items and stuff, but it's so much more effort than using some sort of melee weapon. So to save myself the hassle, I was like, I'm just going to use the hammer. I know where I stand with that. I'm good with it. Like, yeah, the setup I have on it, like, guaranteed to knock a monster, well, stun the monster, like 3 times in a hunt usually. Yeah, the first one always happens within like the first 3 swings at the head. And my mate's just like, that's insane. He's like, this is so broken that he shot them down like that right away, and then I just get to wail on them. It's like, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I do. I do help out breaking the other parts though, because the more parts you break, the more rewards you get. Oh, interesting. Munitions boom. Lock and load. Oh, we get more ammo to carry, I guess. I'm glad I got that. I've never even thought to look up, and I'm still not used to it. It doesn't feel right. Back in the corner here, but it's fine. It's what we want. Come on, get me, folks. Something hit me from behind. Jeez. Sure. Oh, that's why the flames are a different colour. You're an exalted flamer, okay? Damn. flamer. Oh baby. What's up guys? Ooh, hello. How did you get there? I like to go past my gun and just one pop the pink color. You stop it. There we go. Oh baby. Hey, I saw that. Well done, mate. Weirdly sitting in that corner did me really well. I wouldn't have thought so. But hey, we'll take it. Up here might have been quite decent as well. It's really high up, so they really have to come towards you. It's quite open. So if they did go over there, they could still shoot you. Suggestion. Lost? No, not lost. Looting. Very different, mate. Very, very different. Okay. Whee. Whee. Oh, looks very good. Where? Times have changed these days though for Space Marines. We don't have just, you know, bolters and things or heavy bolters. Heavy bolters are no longer going to be a thing. The Devastator Marines, I think, are being included in those that are being made into the Legends category, so they're being retired for use. Which means your heavy bolt guns now, if you want a heavy bolter, it's got to be a heavy bolt rifle or something like that for the heavy version of Intercessors, which are Primaris for Marines. Primaris ones are a divisive topic. Some people still really love their tactical marines instead, which I completely sympathise with, to be honest. Yeah, cool. You know, there's been advancements in the settings, lore and stuff obviously as to why Primaris are a thing, but yeah, it's not. I don't know. The Space Marines never interested me that much. I mean, my brother wanted the new starter set, so I said I'd get it with him. He, you know, as and when he gives me the Space Marine half, because we don't live that close, it will be a case of I give him the money for it. But yeah, he wanted the Tyranid half. He doesn't really want the Space Marines, and I said fine. I've already had Space Marines from 2 other starter sets, just sat on the side there. Well, in progress with painting, but yeah, I painted that as Crimson Fist. Can't say I ever really intended to use them for play, to be honest. Space Marine ones. Largely just got them just because, you know. I mean, I don't play the tabletop games, so it's a shame, really. I'd probably enjoy it these days. Instead, I'm kind of just like, well, I don't really want to spend loads on an army and stuff unless I know I really want it. So, but you know, a lot of people say that's sensible. I have some Eldar models, but like I've always had the Eldar models. I did play with my brothers when I was younger, the Eldar models I have. I don't really want to play Eldar though. I'm not really sure what I'd do if I wanted to play. Space Marines would obviously be an easy choice. Because what have I got? Assault Intercessors, 2 units of Intercessors, unit Power Blasters, Inceptors, Captain in Gravis Armour, got a Lieutenant with shields and Volkite Pistol. I have an Ancient, one of the standard. And then what else have I got? I don't know what it is. What do I have? Oh yeah, I've got 2 other Lieutenant models. One of them's just a Power Sword pistol. Other one is... Where's the other one? I think he's got like a bolt rifle or something like that. Right, where's the thing for this door though? Am I being stupid? I've got the key. I do not see where I put the key. If I come through here to here. Interesting. Got sidetracked by my models talk. I do also have some Titans ones actually, Rubric Marines. So it'd be 2 5-mans of Rubric Marines, a 10-man Flamers Rubric Marines. We've got some Exalted Sorcerers. $3 of Exalted Sorcerers is such good value for money, by the way. You get effectively 3 characters. And you can use the spare bits because in the box of Rubric Marines you get 10. And it's designed to only have 1 sorcerer in it, so you have to have a unit of 10 effectively built. But you don't have to. Get the Exalted Sorcerer's box and you can definitely use some spare bits to turn that box of Rubrics into 5-man squads instead. What I'm doing. I haven't actually built it. I mean, Titans Sons are an easy purchase. Like, I've got some Age of Sigmar, I've got Zinch Demons, so they were the starter sets for that. Start collecting ones back in the day, but say back in the day. 2 years ago, I think it was. But they were really good value for money. You get a squad of 10 Pink Horrors, a squad of Flamers, a squad of Screamers, Change Caster. Could also be put on the Chariot. Doesn't get the disc option though. And then yeah, you get a Burning Chariot, which can be built as obviously the HQ as a Burning Chariot or as a Burning Chariot itself, which you can see it's got a Flamer on its back. But if you just base the Flamer and the Change Caster on their own base and make the Chariot, you can just stick out one of them on the back of it as needed. Interchangeable. So yeah, the value for money in that box is insane for Age of Sigmar, and yeah, highly recommend it. Oh, I've already got the key, mate. Just looking around in case there's any secrets or anything that I might see. Grab that. Yeah, but I mean, if anyone is, you know, interested in 40k there, or maybe you've always been interested in Warhammer fan in general and you've never been quite sure how to get into it, it's probably a good time, given that there's a new edition, 10th edition. So the rules have all changed, so even experienced players, whilst they will figure out the rules very quickly and know what's best or not great, you know, they'll be able to identify those things easily, but you know, for other people it's a good chance to get in. It's not the cheapest hobby, I'd admit, but there are, if you're not wanting to commit to like something more large scale as an army, you have combat patrol boxes. So they give you a small force which is designed specifically to be balanced as its own unique game compared to like what you see people do on the larger scale of like 2,000 point games. Combat Patrol has its own rule set, so some of those models have different rules for Combat Patrol versus what they have in the standard setting of the game. and it's designed to make more balance. So your combat control boxes can compete, and they should be relatively balanced, but obviously there will be balancing issues regardless. A good place to look for that is to play on tabletop. They have started doing some combat control matches, and you can kind of see how different boxes compete with each other. Typically the games are close, so you know, it's always a good thing to see that things aren't really absolutely outperforming others. I mean, in a standard game setting, like on a casual level, it's a lot harder to know whether something is really broken or not. Obviously, someone can take what would be like a competitive list, because competitive 40k is this whole other thing to look into if that's more your style. But yeah, competitive 40k is, at the moment, from what I can tell, dominated by typically your Eldar, the Satrab, Eldar, the Genestealer cults, and for a while it was Imperial Knights. I think people still see a lot of use, but I think some people started to make counters for it. But yeah, Eldar in particular, the one to be careful of playing against, because they will probably batter you. It's just unfortunately with anything like that, like you can make a new edition, but there's always a chance that things don't get balanced well from the get-go, or something just gets given like really crazy rules, and even with a points hike they've still got like crazy rules, so it still makes them far more broken than everything else. But it's not impossible to beat Eldar, obviously, but yeah, like I said, the competitive's different. On the casual level play, unless you've got a friend who's bringing like a really scummy, competitive strong Eldar army, yeah, your general players, they probably won't have that, but that's not to say everything else in the Eldar Codex is weak, though. They're really not. So, yeah. Obviously try your best if you play against Eldar, but yeah, it's something to bear in mind that you might have a difficult time. Okay, I want to get up in that room. Wasn't worth it. Hoping for a secret. God damn it. Yeah, it's been tempting to ask some of my friends if they'd be interested in playing Combat Patrol or something like that. I do live close to well, there is a Games Workshop store where I live, but there's also like another store that sells Warhammer and various other board games and things that has the game pool, so yeah. Something to consider for me to do. I might do that at some point. I know every week they have like a club that does Warhammer 40k. I personally don't know what I'd pick though if I was going to do a combat patrol box myself. I think that would be my way in to make me more focused on like building something particular. I'd just pick a combat patrol box, go with that, and start with it. Yeah, like I say, it's certainly not a cheap investment. Like, they're not cheap. So yeah, it's something you have. But yeah, if you are going to try, it's a good way to get into it at least. There are other game modes as well which are cheaper, like Kill Team. You could just buy one of the Kill Team pre-made armies. Say armies, really. Like Orcs have a 10-man commando squad clear. Kill Team. It's £40, I think, in the UK for Games Workshop. So it is much cheaper than, say, a Combat Patrol box, which I can't remember the exact price of now. It might be something like £95 though, just off the top of my head. But that has its whole entire different rule set, so they don't play the same in 40k. They'll just be a standard game. So wait, if I've got down here, what does that mean I need to go? Supposed to go in there. So if I go over here? Cool. Okay. We're out on the rooftops these days. think I was supposed to go that way, actually. I don't think about it. Scaling the rooftops in my power armor. Uh-oh, that wasn't good. Not good at all. Off we go again. No, that's the start of this area. Never mind, I went the wrong way. Yeah, actually, on top of aesthetics being one thing, it might be useful to think about what kind of playstyle you want to play if you do want to get into Warhammer as a tabletop game, because different factions have very different playstyles. Some of them can gear themselves towards specific ones, but there might be an underlying tone that they are, generally speaking, better at a certain aspect, like shooting, for example. Like if you wanted like a melee army, the last thing you're going to want to do is pick tanks, because they are far more well designed for shooting. That is absolutely the thing they excel at. Vortex grenade. Ooh. Oh, that's spicy. Ooh. Wait a minute. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. But it's like Space Marines, they're like basically the ultimate. You can effectively do anything. You can play a melee focused one. You know, your Blood Angels tend to be more geared towards that. Black Templars, I think, also excel at some melee. They have a unique unit called Sword Brethren. And also they have what is, for me, probably one of the coolest models of Space Marines, the Emperor's Champion. A guy who, yeah, is just a complete badass for the sake of being a badass. Stands there with his big old sword and cuts down anyone that challenges him. If you're interested in the lore of it all, he's yeah, he's something really cool to read about. Oh, I've done that as well. Cool. So is there anything else in this area, or do I need to go back and open that door now? Do I have a key? Oh, I do have the key, yeah. There it is. I knew I was being stupid. Onward we go. Okay. I was going to say, this is a little too quiet. Whee! There's got to be some sort of secret in this area for this, probably. There always seems to be when they make you fight horde. Very close to my face. Rather you not be there as it goes. It's a higher up, isn't it? Oh baby, yeah. Oh, I used that vortex grenade. Fucking everything else. I could save it for a bigger group. Thought I was throwing a normal grenade, I forgot to change it. Right, we're at the top. Nice little dead end here. Ooh. Mega damage. But you at, boys and girls? What up? Doing a lot of Zinch theming out. We had one mission where it was really heavy Venerable themed. And then it's back to Zinch again. Which I can only presume the build up is to the end of the chapter to have a boss in Zinch. Not made for that, don't I? Oh, it's resolved. Yes, brother. Warhammer. Cool. And build it up. I presume we're probably at the end of the mission, to be honest. Although I'll admit me getting lost didn't help. So this one's probably taken longer than it should have. Anything in here? Yes. Okay. This is indeed the end of the level. So, leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed, guys. And I will... Jesus Christ, 36 minutes. Yeah, anyway, leave a like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.